Hey guys, welcome back to the Not Only Carrots show here on YouTube. I'm Leah and today I'll be making Sneaky Bar, a vegan version of Snickers bar. Alright, let's get started. Okay guys, to support this channel, grab a copy of my e-recipe book, No We Don't Only Eat Carrots, from my website. Information's below and this recipe is in that cookbook. So let's get started. Grab yourself a nice big bowl and we're going to go with a wooden spoon plus 1 cup of peanut butter. Every good dessert has to have some peanut butter in it somewhere. This is 100% peanut butter with no salt, no sugar added, just the beautiful peanuts as they were made. Pop that in there and we're going to add in some liquid sweetener. Today I'm using a half a cup of maple syrup and I have another half a cup over there of rice malt, which will be my sweetener that also adds that chewy caramel texture that we all love in Snickers bars. Pour that in. All right, now we need to add our nuts. I took 1 cup of nuts. Today I used almonds and cashews plus some Brazil nuts. The almonds were raw, the Brazil nuts were raw, and the cashews were dry roasted but unsalted. And I just roughly chopped those up so they're kind of chunky, and that's what I was going for today with the Sneaky Bar. But you can actually pop these into your blender and pulse them if you want it to be a little more ground up. And you can use the turbo button on a Thermomix, just pulse it a few times and that works too. So pop them in and we're going to stir that together. We're going to trade our spatula for our wooden spoon. And we've got to make sure that these ingredients are stirred together really well. You don't want to have some bits that aren't sweet and some bits that are too peanutty. Stir that together. As you can see, guys, there is a lot of protein in this Sneaky Bar. So this is one of those sneaky recipes. It's not only sneaky because it's like a Snickers bar, but it's sneaky because it gets in a really great protein punch in there. Plus, as you can see, look at all these whole foods that we're adding into this delicious dessert. And the fun thing too is this is a no-bake dessert. This one just pops straight in the freezer when it's done. You don't have to heat up an oven or anything like that. So the kids can even do this on their own as long as they've got strong arms because it gets a bit stiff when you're stirring it. Now we're going to add in our chocolatey taste, but I am using a cocoa alternative. This is carob powder. I have 3/4 of a cup and I'm going to put it through my sifter because it gets a bit chunky and you don't want to have any lumps in your Sneaky Bar. Although the carob lumps are quite sweet. It's naturally a very sweet powder and it grows in pods on a carob tree and they roast them and grind them up and that's how you get the yummy carob powder. And this is actually 20% protein as well. So as I say, this is a super duper protein punch dessert. All right, stir that through really gently. Carob powder is very puffy and it will want to jump out at you. And however fun it is to get covered in carob, today we're going to try and keep it in the bowl, even though it's puffing out a little bit. And gently fold that through your mixture. Now, if you want to add different nuts to what I added today, you are more than welcome to do that. This works great even with chunky peanuts in there. Your peanut butter as well, you can have it smooth or you can have the crunchy varieties. You can even add in seeds like pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds. And coconut can work too if you like desiccated coconut. So stir those through as well. And I reckon you could even put in some sultanas or goji berries if you like sort of a fruit and nut kind of chocolate and get that extra chewiness in there, especially after it's frozen. Now, it gets quite firm, as you can see. It really holds it together. So that carob powder is giving us that chocolate flavor, but it's also holding the mixture together. Now, here's the texture for you. So you can see it holds up really well, but you can see that chewy caramel texture already coming out. That is what we're going for with this dessert. Now, we're going to set aside these things and I'll come back and show you what to do putting it into the pan. Okay guys, we are going to be putting this dessert into the freezer as I mentioned earlier. So if you do find a baking pan, make sure it's freezer safe. This one happens to be. So yeah, you don't want to put it in the freezer and have it crack and break and be very sad, not only to lose the pan, but to lose a sneaky bar. Now today, we'll use cling wrap as our lining paper or our parchment paper. And we're going to keep the cling wrap on one end of the baking dish. And you want it to be about double the length of the baking dish because we're going to fold it back over the top of the sneaky bar once we have that inside. And it's not going to press in perfectly. Oh, it's going to make a liar of me. It doesn't always press in perfectly, but today it's deciding to. Very good. Well-behaved paper. All right, well-behaved cling wrap. Now take your sneaky bar mixture and just plonk it in there. And then we're going to flatten it out. As I said before, it gets really firm and stiff in there. Okay. But that is what we want. And once you freeze it, it gets super, super, super chewy. But I will mention when you serve your sneaky bar, make sure you only put it out on the table once you are 100% ready to eat dessert, because it will melt, especially if you live in a climate like where I do in Australia. It's going to want to fall out. I'm going to show you a trick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with my trick. It's a little bowl of water, and use either the back of a spoon or you can wet your spatula. You're going to actually smooth out that mixture, and because of the water being on the spoon, it's not going to want to stick as easily. So spread it out. If it starts sticking, just pop it back in, just very gently, and flatten it out. Now make sure that you are evening each side out. You don't want to have one side super thick and the other side, you know, kind of gets skimped on. You don't want to do that. And yeah, that's a bit better. That's looking nice. Okay, so this is what you're going to end up with. And as I mentioned before, just take that excess cling wrap and bring it up over the top, and very gently with your hand, press it down. You're not trying to flatten, you're just pressing the cling wrap onto the top of the sneaky bar. And then you just press the sides over, essentially creating a seal there. And that just goes straight in the freezer as is. And when it's rock solid, it's about 4 hours, even a little bit longer. You take it out and the cling wrap comes straight out. You can literally lift it out of this baking dish, slice it up into nice big thick bars if you want to have your Snickers bar look, or you can cut it up into little tiny cubes like friends of mine used to try and convince themselves just to have a little bit, but they tended not to have a little bit. It's rather more-ish and it's very difficult to eat a little bit. But as I mentioned before, it's actually a very healthy dessert and something that you can prepare really quickly if you've got a potluck or you've got a lunch at work and you want to take something quick and easy to make. The kids can make it without your help. There's no oven needed. And it's just really delicious. So I hope that you enjoy the recipe. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried it and perhaps any alternatives that you tried in your version. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you later, guys. Bye.